We've reached the point where candidates have the opportunity to ask a question of one another. And we would start with Peter. If you have a question for Ann, this is your option.
Ann, if you would, please tell me and our voters of Precinct 1 what idea that you had that you were able to initiate in the town council in your 8 years as town councilor that has come to fruition and that you are most proud of. Thank you.
Well, that's a very good question and a very hard one because there's been a number of initiatives. One, I think, comes, I don't know why, but it comes to my head is the land-based wind turbine ordinance. I worked with, and I didn't do it all myself, but I worked with the subcommittee of the planning board for many months on drafting a wind ordinance that would allow placement of wind turbines in private and commercial sectors. Another one that occurred to me is that on the solar committee with other councilors, I was able to push, it was a contract that the town manager would have signed, but he had the wisdom of allowing a subcommittee to look at it further. It was made up of Councilor Barton, Crocker, Milne, myself, and Norman. And one of the ideas that I came up with was, in that committee, was to insist on indemnification rights and step-in rights, and also a cost differential. That was another entity was taking 10%, and we ended up getting that 10%. So as a result, it will save the town $175,000 minimum per year. So you know, when you work on the council, I think you mentioned it, you work in coalitions, you work in groups, you work in teams, so that, you know, you may have an idea, someone else may make it better, and vice versa. So I think it's always been a collaborative effort.
Satisfied?
Thank you.
Ann, do you have a question for Peter? I'm
just going to ask him. It's a very simple question, and it really isn't my question, but questions that I've gotten. In that, you know, you're a busy guy, and you work off Cape, you work in Braintree, I understand. And the job of the counselor, frankly, I'm at meetings 2 or 3 times a day. I attend events. I have to read an enormous amount of material and spend hours and hours on this job. So, very simple question, but is, you know, how are you going to find time to do this?
Fortunately, Ann, I do have a staff that works for me. In my practice, I have 3 other lawyers in my office in Braintree. When I take on a task, whether when I was the trustee at the Horace Mann Charter School, I take it and I commit to it. I will meet my obligations for my constituents. I'm amazed that you have such a great email connection with a lot of the people in the village, and I envy that. I will hope to, if elected, to be able to do the same. My goal is to focus on the better parts of what the town council can be, building the coalitions that are necessary to be positive, not divisive, not creating issues. Being a town councilor is not getting headlines for yourself. Being a town councilor is being effective in the leadership capacity to try to get things accomplished. And that's what my goal will be. And I will work with the town manager and all the town councilors and all the groups in my village to be effective, to be their voice, and to do as they wish. When I have to present issues, I will test the wind and make sure that I'm doing what they want, not for some other reason. Thank you.
Satisfied?
Well, I think you should get on my email list. Would you like to?
You can work that out after.